They shook it up on the House floor. They got it done, 215 to 214, passing what the President of the United States has dubbed the Big, Beautiful Bill. That happened right before we got on the air this morning, prior to 6 o'clock Central Time. And now we get the reaction from one of our own. Missouri Congressman Mark Alford is here on KCMO Talk Radio. So, Congressman, can we call you the deciding vote in this one with a one-vote win?
Well, sure. I'll take the win on that. Look, even if we win by one vote, it is still a victory. This is a victory for the American people. I knew that this was going to pass. I've been telling everyone it's going to pass. The momentum was in our favor. We got a few things worked out. Some for the Freedom Caucus, who wanted the eligibility requirements to kick in sooner for Medicaid, which I was fighting for as well. We got that down from 2029 to 2026. And we also satisfied the SALT issue with those members in New York, California, Illinois, raising the deduction amount to $40,000 from $10,000 from where it is now. But look, Pete, this is a huge, huge win for America. I've been telling you about this. This is going to skyrocket business and our economy. We have been a slingshot that has been pulled back. It's about to release. And I predict in the third and fourth quarter of this year, you're going to see a record economy for America. The bond markets are responding. The stock market will respond. Our businesses will be safe and secure. We will not experience the largest tax increase in U.S. history. And what was at stake had we not passed this.
Okay, so you mentioned the work requirements. Basically, we got to figure out a way to get able-bodied Americans, especially men, back into the workforce. So
exactly.
That was something that you guys moved. I don't even know, why was it at 2029 in the first place? Why didn't we start at 2026?
I asked that, and the leadership said, well, the governors need time to get their processes in place. And I'm like, come on now, that's BS. There was some other reason they weren't telling us, but they gave in. I talked to Speaker Mike Johnson about this and others. Look, the same thing with the SNAP program, food stamp program. You know, if you're able-bodied and you're not out looking for a job and you don't have dependents, you shouldn't be on a food supplement program from the federal government. You should be out working. And we're going to make sure that those people who truly need SNAP assistance and those who truly need Medicaid are going to get it. But we've got to preserve these programs, and the way we do it is getting rid of the waste, abuse, and fraud. The Democrats, the left, the progressive woke side of our nation have been lying to the American people through this whole process that we are cutting Medicaid. We are not cutting Medicaid.
So I know that there was also some consternation with many conservatives, a handful of conservatives. Thomas Massey actually posting this on social media here a few minutes ago and basically saying this is an omnibus bill that essentially many Republicans fought against for a lot of years. And I don't think he's wrong there, but how do you justify this bill then being an omnibus bill?
Well, yeah, I guess by omnibus. Now, look, omnibus has gotten a really bad rap. Basically, you're taking two or three multiple things out of a single subject bill and putting it into something that has more structure to it, more items in it. So it becomes a vehicle to move legislation in a multifaceted fashion rather than a single subject. Now, we all want to get back to regular order. We know that. But you cannot take a reconciliation bill like this. And the reason we did this is so that we can – now the Senate's going to have to take it up, and they only need a simple majority now to pass this thing and get it on the president's desk by July 4th. You're not going to do that with single subject bills. You would have had 100 of them to go over, and that's just not possible in our day and age. We don't have the time to do that.
Yeah. How do you feel about the cuts? Because obviously DOGE has been a major part of this first 120 days for the administration. We know about the debt issues this country's facing. Nothing's going to be perfect, but how do you feel about that part of this bill?
I like it. It's our job now to codify these DOGE cuts. We're working through that on the appropriations process as well. Yesterday, we just had Secretary of State Marco Rubio before our subcommittee on state and foreign operations, now called National Security and State Department related programs. And we went through these programs that are being cut, 80% of them in the USAID portfolio. We're going to rename those National Security Investment Projects. Just one example of the things that we're doing to right-size our government under the leadership of Donald Trump. They have gone in there. They have identified cuts that need to be made. They've made the hard decisions. It's been a disruption. There's been a little chaos, but there's going to be, when you're steering this ship away from this reef that we were going to hit. We have $36.5 trillion worth of debt. And this bill, this rescission bill, it's not going to solve the problem overnight. We're not going to solve the problem overnight with this budget we're going to have to deal with now for 2026. But we are making incremental steps in the right direction.
How do you feel, Mark Alford, about what the Senate's going to do with this thing?
Look, I had a little meeting with Ted Cruz, Senator Ted Cruz, night before last, and he thinks that the Senate version may actually be a little bit more conservative than the House version. We are adding defense dollars to this because we've got to catch up to what the communist Chinese are doing. We've got to rebuild our military. And so they may have a few more dollars in defense. I don't know exactly how it might be more conservative than we have produced, but I'm here to tell you the Senate's going to get this done. There's momentum there as well. There is a willingness to make sure that we get this done for the American people. We have got to make sure that we maintain the majority in the House and, of course, the Senate this next go-around in the midterms. If we don't do that, if we fail, then we failed the American people. The Democrats gain control of the gavels, and it will all be about impeachment of President Donald J. Trump.
So were you up? I mean, this was an all-nighter for you, Congressman. Have you done one of those since college or maybe in your TV days? I'm
trying to think. Yeah, I have been up all night. I did a floor speech debating the rule on this, debating the bill at 2:30 this morning, and I have been up with my colleagues and friends waiting on this to happen. It's kind of, we were so excited. I didn't want to go to sleep. Some other people went to sleep. But no, I can't think of a time that I've pulled an all-nighter in a long, long time. You know, I used to get up at 3 in the morning when I anchored at Fox 4 for 23 years. I got up that early. But this was well worth it. This is going – Pete, I've told you this before. This is probably the most consequential bill that I will vote on in my time in Congress. And I'm not being I'm not exaggerating. Mm-hmm. This will turn the ship of our country, this big, beautiful bill, as Donald J. Trump said.
So you said July 4th. You mentioned earlier you hope the president is able to sign it by then. Is that realistic at this point, or are we looking at maybe a Labor Day setup?
Look, everyone doubted us. They doubted us that we could get this passed out of the House by Memorial Day. They said, oh, well, that's just a arbitrary deadline. It doesn't mean anything. It does mean things. Up here in Washington, things do not get done. And unless you set a deadline, unless you drive towards that, it's not going to get done. July 4th is a very doable deadline. Let's get it on the president's desk. Let's have a big 4th of July, Independence Day signing of the bill that is going to change America.
I like that. Well, Congressman, we'll let you get some rest. And last thing, Speaker Mike Johnson. You know, this guy, obviously, no one knew who he was outside of his district until he became Speaker of the House, and he was like the third or fourth option. How's his legacy shaping up throughout all this?
I think people are beginning to realize that there's something special about Mike Johnson. I think there's a reason that he's here at this time in our nation's history, not only to lead us in the House, to build consensus within our somewhat fractious Republican conference, but to also be a counselor of sorts to President Trump. They've become very good friends, and I think President Trump has a great admiration and respect for Mike Johnson that maybe he didn't have for Kevin McCarthy. Mm-hmm. And that makes a difference when we are all in this together trying to move the ball forward for the American people. I think every day that Mike Johnson is in office and every day that he's our speaker, he's getting things done. He's bringing people together, and he's really performing miracles almost. I was at a dinner or a lunch the other Monday or Tuesday when I got here, and there was a lobbyist who called him. I don't think she knew what she was saying, but she says, we've taken to calling him Magic Mike because, and I don't think she had seen the movie or didn't know about Chatham Tanning. But anyway, there is something, I don't want to say magic, but there's something special about Mike Johnson. His demeanor, his attitude, his love for everyone in our conference. And I don't mean a squishy romantic love, but I mean just a human love, treating people like they're brothers and sisters, and we've got to do this together. It's not the House of John Boehner days. It's not the House of Kevin McCarthy days. This is a new golden era, and we have a golden speaker.
I like Mike Johnson. I don't want to see him work that stripper pole anytime soon, though. I'll just say that much.
No.
Thank you, Congressman. We'll let you get some rest, all right? Thank you.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.
There you go. That is Mark Alford on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM, streaming on the KCMO Talk Radio app.